All right. Yo, it's your boy Hometown, the Beats and Chill podcast, episode 156. And I know things are a little different. As you can see, I'm by myself. But it doesn't mean that the gang is still not here. We're doing something a little different. What we're going to be doing, man, because we want to make sure we get more episodes out to you guys. Right now, we were recording maybe once every 2 weeks for the past like couple of years. And I feel like we just need to kind of get on the ball more and kind of put out more. We got more conversation that we want to have more in depth dialogue on. And I just feel like, trying to stuff 2 weeks of information in a 1 hour and 15-minute episode is just not cutting it. So we're going to do this thing where the whole squad that we do, that you see in the studio, that's going to be side A of the podcast. And then the off weeks, which will be me, typically by myself, or with a special guest or an additional recurring guest. That's going to be side B of the Beats and Chill podcast. So right now, this episode will be a side B. The last episode, which is 155 with Jazz, that was kind of like a tester for side B, but let's just say that's a one-off. And that was just me and her giving our top 5 albums of 2025 so far. But this is officially going to be like the side B version of the podcast, which will all be a part of the same series. So continue to look for more episodes on YouTube, on wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Hey, check out our Patreon too. You know what I'm saying? It's only $2. You know what I mean? So show some love on the Patreon. But I'm here to just, kind of go over some new music stuff, information. Kind of just go over some new music. We had the release of the Clipse album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. We had Swag by Justin Bieber. And we also had Jackboys too. And I want to talk about that. Also got to talk about what happened with Drake at the Wireless Festival. We got to talk about that in the UK. That's definitely caused a stir. So, without further ado, and also, shit, we also got to talk about the sudden back and forth between Nicki and SZA, or just Nicki on Twitter, period. Which honestly, I don't want to deep dive into because I don't want to get on nobody's bad side. Whoever sees this, granted, for the couple of viewers we might get on this shit. So, but as always, we want to definitely stick to the music. So, I gotta start with a potential album of the year candidate. Now we know GNX is going to be nominated for sure, but I feel like what we've saw in the past couple years with the Grammys, with Doechie's Alligator Bites Never Heal and Killer Mike's last album with Michael, I'm pretty sure this Clipse album will be nominated for a Grammy. We got everyone's like talking about it. I think I'm recording this is Thursday night, so it was reported that they were expected to do around 90K or more, which is phenomenal for them because from what I've been seeing, the story has it that they bought themselves out of their contract with Def Jam because Def Jam didn't want to put out their album, so they were independent, and then in addition to that, they partnered with RocNation on distribution only and management for this album. So technically, they're by that definition, they are indie artists doing 90K, and I think that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That is amazing. That's the goal. You feel what I'm saying? So, shout out to the Clipse, an amazing rollout, and I want to get into that. This rollout that they have been on and continuing to push this album has been amazing. I think any artist, major, indie, whatever, should take note, honestly. From being very selective to who they want to talk to about the album, right? They went to, I understand that like we have a lot of different sections in hip hop today. And I gotta take a sip. Shout out to caprisun gang. If you got kids, you know what time it is. This is a Pacific Cooler gang. You know what I'm saying? But there's different like sections of like hip hop media or media that gravitates to hip hop news, right? You have streaming, you have, traditional outlets like radio, podcasts, you name it. You know what I'm saying? And just content creators, the whole nine. And I think with the clips, just with these acts, they're like, Malice is 52 years old, Pusha T is 48, so we're talking like older statesmen in the game of hip hop. Who they go to is going to be very like, it has to be particular. It has to be very like selective because as the audience and people who probably this is their first this is probably the first Clips album they're listening to because the last album came out 2009. I believe it was Hell Hath No Fury, or I can't remember. I can't remember which one. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's been 15 years since they dropped an album. So this is, and we're in a time where like groups, rap groups, even though they're there, shout out to Barely Legal. You got Coach Contra. You got Brock Ham. Well, I don't know if Brock Hampton's still a thing. I kind of heard that they were, some of the members are kind of getting along again. But like legendary duos like Outkast ain't putting out no albums. You know what I'm saying? So it's like getting this is like a jewel for hip hop. This is a crowning moment for hip hop when we have this type of act because at this point they have been very impactful in hip hop. We're talking about fashion when it comes to just coming out with Pharrell with Bait and in that era back in the early 2000s. We don't get Bait Wayne without Clips. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't get that. Um, and I just think that like what we're seeing right now is kind of rejuvenating the spirit for a lot of like hip hop acts who are on the come up or just under the radar that might be 30 years or older. You know what I'm saying? Like they're showing like, yo, you can still be a polished MC and do this correctly. And there is people that you can talk to about this album to roll it out that is going to reach the right people, which Pusha T may call them the non-surface level listeners. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's dope. I can't really name all the platforms that they went to, but I do know that they spoke with damn, I'm drawing a blank. I hate when I do that. Man, if I'm gonna just look it up right now, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But I know that they spoke with B Dot recently. Uh, Clips interviews. Let's just go. I'm gonna go to YouTube. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I think they were very selective with who they went to speak with. I hate that I'm drawing this blank, bro. This shit sucks. The Clips interviews. So I'm showing here. It was on the Breakfast Club. They did album music. Um, they did Complex, where it was just like them and Pharrell kind of just previewing the album and just kind of going over each song and whatnot. They did the Joe Budden podcast, which is like them the number one for hip hop media. Um, Hip Hop DX, Bootleg Kev, like they went through a good proper selection of people to like talk about this album, to give context to this album, which a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest, in this day and age, a lot of people are not listening to full interviews. You know what I'm saying? They're going with the sound bites, they're going with the clips, right? But doing enough interviews allowed them to generate enough clips of different talking points about the album, that just that in itself was enough to kind of feed the person who's not too invested for the long form content, but could get enough of the clip content. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was genius in itself, right? And then if you are someone who likes to get into the investment of the album and the world building, right? We're talking about merch, we're talking about touring, we're talking about just content in general. They have been releasing like a bunch of different like collections of merch. Working with Cause on the album cover. Doing, I even purchased like a special edition vinyl and merch release that they dropped, and they continue to keep dropping them. They just released the tour. Tyree hit me up, was like, we might be pulling up to the Orlando show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've I've never been to a Pusha T or a Clipse show ever. I was kind of a little too young, and my mama damn sure wasn't buying me no tickets back in the early 2000s when they was doing their thing. And now it's kind of like I kind of get to get that moment. So this would be dope, and definitely with this album, perfect. Um, Another thing too, when it comes to this Clipse album, we got to talk about like the features, right? So just going a quick run of the features, we have, of course, the obvious. We got Kendrick Lamar, we got Tyler the Creator, who went in on his verse. I don't know what the fuck Kanye was talking about Tyler can't rap. Like, shut up. The Dream, John Legend, Ab Liva, Nas. We have unlisted features with Stevie Wonder and Lenny Kravitz. Stevie Wonder was on Birds Don't Sing, which honestly is probably right now, without a doubt, my favorite song on the album. It's the intro of the album. I've never, you usually don't hear people come in on an intro like that. A beautiful song. It's about the loss of their parents. I mean, I don't want to say, is there spoilers in music? Whatever. It's about the loss of their parents, and they're both kind of telling their POVs and the conversations that they had, and it's just like, man, like that. I it's just, I guess in this day and age, like what's what's propped up mainstream and hearing the hip hop today, you don't really get albums that start off that visually for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's someone who's lost a parent at a younger age, you start to connect with certain things. But I'm gonna get into the verse on sing later. Um, I would like to say my favorite, well, over here, my favorite songs. My favorite songs on this album is number one, Birds Don't Sing, Whips and Chains. Birds Don't Sing does feature John Legend. Me and the homies was in the game chat earlier today talking about how this is probably the best that John Legend has sounded in a while. I don't know if what happened to him, but the nigga found his spark and did what he was supposed to do on this record with Birds Don't Sing. Um, Whips and Chains was amazing. The production was just like, it was just one of those. It was just one of those. It was just one of those beats that just feels cinematic. It just feels like something that moves you. It's a cinematic moment of like something's about to fucking go down. You know what I'm saying? I can hear that record being on like Gatorade commercials, Nike commercials, or fucking movie trailers and shit like that. Like that is the production on that, for real, amazing. Kendrick Lamar, everyone killed their verses. Kendrick Lamar, outstanding feature. Um, and then the third song, I'm gonna give three, but the third song on here was the Mike Tyson blow to the face. Like, it's something about the flow that Pusha was doing that was like very reminiscent of like Biggie. Everything was just giving Biggie with that record. And as someone who is like a huge Biggie fan, Biggie Smalls fan, like hearing that, it was an instant just like you had the screwed up ugly face with the head nod on that record. Like it just came in so hard, bro. Like pause. It just came like the way that the beat came in was just crazy. And I'm again, hats off to Pharrell on this album. Like, which leads me to my next point. And I want to ask y'all, like, bro, like, who do you think shined on this album? For me personally, it's easy to say, but I feel like Malice shined on this album. I feel like he didn't waste a bar. And I think that's what it is. I don't feel like Pusha T. Don't get me wrong. I don't think anybody wasted a bar on here. But I feel like not only did Malice not waste a bar, he did it with just such precision. I felt like this is what I want to hear. Like the the OGs. I don't even say OGs, but this is what I want to hear. Maturity in rap. This is what I want to hear. Like real maturity in rap. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like boring. It's not like bullshit. It's not cheesy. It's just real raw, mature, hard hitting, like precise raps. It's great raps. You know what I'm saying? Um Malice, I believe to me, like I said, no Malice is my standout on this album. I think Pusha T, if anybody is the happiest person in the world, it has to be Pusha T. Like having your brother back rapping together on this album, being able to put a group album out, like doing it with Pharrell at this time independently, Jay Z backing you on the distribution. Like, what else can you ask for? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Pusha is rapping his ass off on this album. He's killing the hooks on this album as well. Um, One thing I do want to say is that like this will be nominated for a Grammy. This will be nominated for a Grammy. It's already one of the best albums of the year. It will be nominated for a Grammy. I don't know if it wins because GNX is going to be nominated. So I don't know if it wins, but GNX and Let God Sort 'Em Out will be two of the 5 or 6 nominated hip hop albums or rap albums in the Grammys. Mark my words. Um, what I would like to do is kind of get in, kind of take a step back from the albums. I want to get into I want to get into Drake performance at the Wireless Festival. Now, granted, I didn't get a chance to like stream or watch the festival because it was like 3 days. I heard he did like 3 different sets, whatever. I don't know if that's true or not. I just know he did. That's what I was seeing. I did see Clipse. I do know that he brought out Party Next Door. He brought out Lauren Hill. He brought out Mario, um, and some other special guests. I think he brought out Sexy Red. That was a bit funny. Um, but I mean, one thing you can't say about the boy is that like, hey, there's not many artists that could do 3 different types of sets, 3 different nights, and kill. I'll tip my hat off to that. However, there was one moment. There was one moment that he said that he went on stage, and I think one thing that Drake does is he's a guy that's in the moment and will say anything to just kind of get like be like the uplifting spirit. I remember seeing this a couple years ago when I went to Dreamville Fest, and he was just like talking to J. Cole on stage, and it was kind of like he's like he's like he's like a certified like glazer, you know what I mean? Um, but he said that the best lyricists in hip hop are in the UK. What? You know what I'm saying? Like, huh? Like, nigga, do you know that? All right, number one, hip hop originated in the U.S. and it still is maintained in the U.S. and continues to be the mecca and the location that does it the best to this day. Right? To this day. Right? Don't get me wrong. It's the UK got a lot of great talent. Like they do. They have a lot of great talent. They definitely killing the R&B. but they're definitely doing their thing. I'm definitely not going to sit here and try to count off, gun to my head, 5 UK artists right now, just because my brain does not work like that. But it's not to say that they trash or anything like that. But we just not doing that. We just not. And I felt like I did see some commentary from like UK podcasts or whatever saying like, oh, you lost in the US, now you trying to find an ally, so you come over here for love, and it's like, I don't know if that's the case, but that's some bullshit. Like we not we not doing that. You know what I mean? We're not doing that. And then now it's like spawning this UK versus US. What is going on? Can that just be on the funny jokes on how we talk and what we in the cuisine? All right, them niggas eat baked beans for breakfast. They call our pizza open sandwiches. I don't I don't know what that is about, but like Skepta and Jordan Lucas is going at it. Like what the fuck is that about? That was not on the bingo card for 2025. Um the fuck? Like and I listen. It ain't take too much time to listen, but I listen. And I mean it's okay. Even listen to Jordan, I'm like, okay, bro. I'm saying this is weird. Yeah, let's pull the plug on that. Let's pull the plug on like reaching for the next great diss moment. Like I think we don't have to reach for that. You know what I'm saying? The Drake and Kendrick was brewing for at least 10 years. Let's like all these fly by night, we at odds for hip hop. Let's relax. Let's like let things actually organically build. Like let's cut that shit out, bro. But Drake, Drake is currently, I guess, in, I want to say, in album mode. He released, he's been taunting or talking about the next album is Iceman, which my Marvel nerds have a connection with Iceman that's pretty funny. I don't want to get into it because that's not really my bag, but he released a record. What did I miss? He did a stream, which pretty much was, it's a bit weird, but he did a stream. He premiered the song, did the video and everything. And honestly, the song is alright. The song is alright. I don't really too much care for him. Like continue to talk about the niggas that switched up on him. Like I get it. I mean, it's expected. This is the, regardless of how macho or just how like head honcho era of a Drake we're in, he's still gonna be vulnerable and talk about like, yo, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when this whole started back with the no new friend shit, like, I feel like this is the same shit. And of course, he was going out to LeBron, which most people was talking about. Um, One thing that was funny was like, oh, so he did watch the pop out. He had a liner about, the niggas was at the pop out, dancing at the pop out or whatever. And I thought that was interesting. But I do think the song is a bop. I do think it's a cool record. Is it something that I would listen to all the time? Probably not. Like, it's not infectious of a song that I would get from like Drake with songs that I do get that infectious feeling like I gotta hear it again and again and again. I can hear it one time, but like, okay, this is cool, right? But I said this on Instagram that like I don't think Drake knows how to make a bad song. I think Drake knows how to make a song that is traditionally good. Like I think it's he knows how to make things that he knows how to make music that sounds good. Now, does that mean that you're gonna love it? Does that mean it's gonna be the song that defines the time for you and all of that? Probably not. It's probably not even gonna move you, but it'll sound good. Like he can't make music that sound bad. Like that's just, it's kind of like a gift and a curse he has. It's like it's not gonna sound bad. I don't give a fuck what he talking about. It's not gonna sound bad, but you might not love it. But it's cool. Like it works. And I think that's just kind of what you're gonna get with Drake, and you can hope for sparks that is like, oh, this is amazing. Like he could definitely give you, this is amazing. This moved me. This is something I connected with. But you're not gonna get a lot of that. You're not gonna get a handful of that. You know what I mean? So yeah. But funny moment. I guess on the stream there was like he was like driving a truck or some shit like that, and somebody outside, like what I guess I'm not sure if he was in, I think he was in Toronto, but somebody was like fuck Drake or whatever, and he was like, talking in his Canadian accent, like what you say? We'll fold it up right now. Don't be quiet now. And I'm not finna try to reenact the shit. Like I'm not gonna do the shit, but if I could find a way to insert the shit here, this would probably be the best time. But like that shit is funny as fuck. Um, but I want to move on. I want to talk about the second album I listened to, and that album is Justin Bieber's Swag. All right, so Justin Bieber's Swag album. I want to say it was like a surprise album. It was no real rollout. It was just kind of like, boom, it's out. Check me out now. He's still on the Def Jam, which is kind of weird because Pusha T and them just left Def Jam, and it was almost kind of speculation with Jackboys releasing because he dissed Travis Scott on the album, and then he then announces that they're dropping on his due date, they're stepping on his date and all that shit. So this just kind of feels a little calculated. However, as a fan, I don't give a fuck about the numbers. Right? It's the music good, bitch. Cool. Um, the Justin Bieber album, alright, man. It's alright. I gotta get to him. Um, like I said, it's and not for nothing. I did see that he reshared something that was shading the Clipse. So it's like I don't know. Is that in connection with Def Jam, or is that like the Canadian solidarity with Drake? Who knows? I don't know why, Justin. I don't know. But couple pointers. Couple notes I want to talk about on the album. So Drewski is on the album. He's like helping with the narration of the album with skits. And honestly, if I'm gonna keep it a bean, it's not really that funny. I think Drewski sounds funny in the skits, but honestly, I didn't really laugh. It was kind of one of those things. It's like, what are we doing? Like, what was the point of that? Like, he kept trying to pull the black and mild joke out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. He did one skit where he was like, "Cause you got a black soul," and this is like, can we not reach for the whole? Let's give Justin some type of blackness. Like we don't have to do that. He dope, he cool, whatever. Like, but I guess it's for the sake of comedy, whatever. I'm not that big on the shit. I'm not like tripping. But um, there was one skit that I felt like wasn't really supposed to be like funny, but it was something that kind of, for those who may not like get it or like pay much attention to Justin like that and only see what happens when he's in the headlines or weird clips and stuff like that that's posted and shit. But he said something like, Drewski gets that he's just trolling and he's just enjoying the internet like everybody else, and that's his way of trolling. And when I heard that, um, I think that like that put things in perspective for me. But when it comes to Justin Bieber, because he clearly has a lot of just like questionable moments with social media, then you definitely they was really getting into Justin Bieber over the Diddy shit as well. Um, so I think that's just been a weird thing. Um, but it was just a concept of like when people, when you do come out the gate on something that's like mentally affecting you or you're dealing with some type of abuse or whatever, now and you're in the public eye, people are gonna continue to ask you like, "Yo, you okay? Are you good?" Da, 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 da. And that can get annoying as fuck sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my dad passed away when I was younger, and for a while, people kept asking me if I was okay or like, was worried, was kind of nervous to bring on my dad and da 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 da. And it's like, bro, I'm good, bro, but now I'm not. Like I was good until you brought the shit up. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's kind of the point that Drewski was making. So I thought that was like pretty cool and insightful, at least in that skit. But the other skits was like, we don't need that, bro. Yeah, we don't need that. But I want to say I want to list the features on the album. We got Dejan, who is I want to say kind of like a new favorite of mine. Um, Gunna, Sexy Red, Marvin Winans, Cash Cobain, Eddie Benjamin, and Lil B. Which Lil B featured in. I mean, he didn't rap. He was kind of like ad lib and talking on the album or whatever. Um, my favorite songs on the album. Uh, Again, the intro was a favorite of mine. Was all I Can Take, which kind of gave me like Michael Jackson like bad vibes. You know what I'm saying? Or not only say I wouldn't even not even say bad. I want to say it was just giving me like Michael Jackson early '90s like vibes, or like just the with the style of production and whatnot. It kind of had a little bit of feel good like they took some notes from like Teddy Riley on that record. You know what I mean? Like it just felt good. Like a little bit of New Jack, a little bit of it just had that feel that it felt like a record that somebody had in mind for Michael Jackson. It was like, you should try this. Really dope record. I really really love UConn. He has pitched up vocals on there, which I guess is cool. It's part of the post production and art or whatnot. But when I first heard him, I'm like, is this SZA? But clearly it was just him with pitched up vocals. But UConn is definitely a vibe on there. Also, another ultimate vibe on the album is Zuma House. Love those records. Like Zuma House, Yukon, and All I Can Take are my three favorite records on there without a doubt. And will probably continue to be my favorite three records on there. He do got some other bops on there. Overall, this is a good album by Justin Bieber. I don't know why it's called Swag. I guess I gotta listen to it a little bit more to get the meaning for that. But what was dope is that the same photographer that did Kendrick's album, also, which was Mr. Brown and the Big Steppers, also did his album. Hold on a second here. Definitely get the name. Justin Bieber. So yeah, the photographer was behind Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Um, Renell, I hope I'm not butchering this, but Renell Medrano, which you see some of the similar imagery where it's like with Justin Bieber and like his baby, and just like like in like kind of like an old furniture looking house and whatnot. Just really dope, similar to like when Kendrick is holding his daughter and with Whitney and his children. It was really dope, and honestly, I would buy the vinyl. I would pay the bread buy the vinyl because I think the album is that good. I think this is a really really good album. Um, and I just felt like the sequencing was really good on this album. Um, Other than that, man, I think this. I mean, I will say I think this is coming from off the backs of like him previously going through like an audit process with his previous management via with Scooter Braun. Scooter Braun, large management consultant and whatever guy. But basically, they had an audit. I think Justin felt like they owed him money, but come to find out through an audit that he owed Scooter Braun money due to an advance he received to do a tour, and he didn't complete the tour, and they end up He ended up on like 26 million, and then there was like another, I'm saying another 6 to 7 million that he owed, but I think Scooter Braun waived that, which is like niggas can just waive millions of dollars like that now. Cool, like niggas got money that can only dream of. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like off the backs of that. Um, but at least now Justin owns his masters, even though he's with Def Jam, he owns his masters. So it's a good moment for him with this album, and this is definitely gonna be a rotation for me, probably for the remainder of the year, honestly. Um, I definitely want to get into Travis Scott and the Jackboys album with Jackboys 2, but we got to talk about some more drama, slightly. We don't want to get too deep into it. We got to talk about Nicki Minaj. She's been going after RocNation. I've been reading the tweets. As much as I've been reading the tweets, I still know what the fuck is going on. I've seen that she owed a bank some money, and all her proceeds from touring and whatnot, she got to pay these motherfuckers. There's some shit about her not signing a contract with Tidal, her feeling slighted by Jay-Z, or she going after a Miss Desiree, who is another person who works with Jay-Z with RocNation, and going through all her business with her daughter. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? And then out of nowhere, I see her and SZA are like fucking trading shots back and forth on Twitter. I'm like, what the fuck? She talking about her freckles. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I have my own opinions about Nicki Minaj that I've been saying for years. I want to say for at least 10 years. I've been saying the same thing about Nicki Minaj. But however, I think she is a legend. I think she is one of the GOATs. I just want her to get off Twitter. I think her tweets are becoming just obnoxious to me as Kanye West's tweets. She's not maybe saying the same thing, but just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, dude, I don't, I'm like, do I follow her? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I seeing this shit all the time? It's a lot. And then, Punch from TDE gets into it. Of course, he managed I think they just released a song with a new TDE artist. I think it's called Broken Barbies or something like that. Broken Barbies by a new artist with TDE. Her name's I Am Lyric. That they just literally released a song today. I don't even know what the fuck I Am Lyric is. People talking about, oh, this is another, industry plant. He responds on Twitter saying, some shit about like he's the gardener or some shit like that, and it's just like him and academics is going back and forth about some buzz. Listen, I can't. I just want the music, bro. I can't deal with the shit. I know I'm a potter. I've been potting for 5 years, bro. I just want the music, dog. I just want the music, bro. Like, the shit is just too much. Like, I'm just moving on. So for my last album recap, before we end the pod, is Jackboys 2 with Travis Scott, Cactus Jack Crew. This was announced to come out on the same date as the Clipse album after everyone heard the So Be It diss verse from Pusha T about Travis Scott. Make sure to go listen to it if you haven't. He was saying some shit. Had some mixed reviews in the chat. Some people felt like that was lame. Some niggas felt it was hip hop. However, it came out. I don't even think it dropped at midnight, like Friday night, like Friday morning, midnight. I feel like it came out Friday night, midnight. I don't fucking know, but it came out like it was a weird late release, or maybe I was just late on it. I don't fucking know. However, first listen was amazing. First Listen was amazing because the production carried that motherfucker. The production, like, shout out my dog Pat Hughes. He be out there in the Twitter streets, and he be like, it still raps. He still, as many people be talking about Travis Scott don't rap, Pusha T saying he don't rap, and he's, Pat saying, but it still raps though. It's hip hop. It may not be the hip hop you like, but it still raps. And I agree. I agree, 100%. However, however, the niggas is not rapping that good on this album. But I don't think it's for that. It ain't for the raps. This is for the vibes. This is for the bops. This is for the shit that knocking the whip. This is shit's for the club. This shit is, and it could be any club you're going to. It could be the strip club or whatever. And based on in the production on here was just all like, it was a real good first listen. Whether he was in the gym, if he was out, going out or whatever, this was a vibe, and I think they did a good job. Honestly, I don't really think it was. I would the what I'm seeing is that I'm hearing people saying that Travis Scott is continuing to make the same. He's been making the same music for the past 5 years or 7 years since Astroworld, and this might just be his bag. You know what I mean? It's okay. We don't need every artist to like really reinvent the wheel every time. You know what I'm saying? Now, if they do, it should be something that's admired, and it should be, you know, definitely like critically reviewed. But if this is what he gives, is what he gives. You know what I'm saying? And it's the second Jackboys project, so this is something that is not. It's not just a Travis album. But I felt like the production for me just carried. It was kind of like, I think Travis Scott and that whole team as a unit is like, they just find all these textures and layers, and they know how to connect them well for a listening experience. And they may not have to do anything. I think the raps come like that's secondary. They take all these layers, and those layers is not just the beat itself, but these are like, all right, we're gonna take elements of like skits. Like, I love that they had Bun B talking throughout the album, talking about just like how things used to be in Houston and what they used to do, and like da da da. Even talking about Florida, gave a little bit of Florida insight, and Memphis, and having features connected to those, like that helped sequence the album for me, and that was amazing. I thought that was really dope. The features on the album too, it was a lot of some interesting features. Playboy Cardi, Future, Vibes Cartel, Tyler, Kodak, NBA YoungBoy. Besides the actual Cactus Jack crew with Sheck West, Don Tolliver, wow, what's the guy's name? I can't remember his fucking name. Sofago, and of course Travis Scott. Like, they did their thing. Like, there's a record called MM3 on there that I feel like Sofago, like, I can't name you three Sofago songs. I know I heard the name before. Can't tell you one album from him. But when I heard MM3, I was like, he went in. I fucked with that. Like, this is dope. But my favorite three songs on this album, because I've been getting my favorite three songs. My favorite three songs includes No Comment by which was like a standout with Don Tolliver. No Comments, I should say, sorry. Outside was really dope. That featured NBA YoungBoy. I feel like, because the features were not listed when you first played it, and so hearing NBA YoungBoy on that, he slid like probably one of the best verses on the album. And then I like the Florida flow. Now, yes, I'm from Florida, of course. If you're watching this, or if you're a returning listener, of course, right? I'm from Florida. You would think that I would just like anything that's labeled Florida. That's da 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 da. But I like Kodak on this record, man. Like, on this record, like, it's something about how Kodak is able to just get like certain bars off. It's certain bars he's able to get off, like, and I don't know. I might say that for side A pod, and kind of giving my breakdown on that. But it's something about Kodak always gonna give you a verse. He gonna always give you a verse. He gonna give you a moment, and I fuck with that. I fuck with that a lot. But like I said, the standout for me was Don Toliver. I feel like he is just artistically and sonically the most polished out of the Jackboys when it comes to what he does on a record. I feel like he is the way he flows and the melodies that he displays on the record. The gap between him, Travis, is like it's like Travis is iconic, and we know Travis, we know his voice, but it's something about Don Toliver. It's like, man, am I glazing right now? It's something about Don Toliver where it's like, yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy of this camp. Like Sheck West is cool. Sheck West got some records. Sofago was dope. Travis Scott is of course a legend, but like Don is that guy, bro. He's the guy. But I don't know how I feel about listening to this all the time. It's not really something I want to continue to play all the time, just cause it does feel a little draining. It's definitely for certain environments. Like if I'm driving at night, I'm gonna definitely put this on. If I'm in the gym, I'm gonna put this on. Outside of that, I'm gonna listen to some R&B. I'm gonna listen to some shit with a little bit of substance, a little bit. You know what I mean? But like I said, I think what carried this album for me was the production and it was also the narration with Bun B. Like those two things made this whole just those elements made this whole album a very very enjoyable listen from top to bottom. So I fuck with it. Shout out to Jackboys too, man. Um, that's all the music I really been listening to. Those are only 3 albums. I'm trying to get into listening to more music every week. I want to listen to 3 to 5 albums every week. That's my goal. EPs, album mixtapes, whatever. That's not just major albums, but that's also local indie acts as well. So if you listen to this and you are an artist, hit your boy up, man. Hit your boy up. Subscribe, leave a comment. Um, Send a link to your music, bro. If it's dope, I'll let you know. And if it's not, you might not hear from me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to tell you bad news. I don't want to tell you bad news. So, yeah. But just for all my creators, all of my creators, all of my artists, producers, managers, event planners. We're in July now. We're in the second half of the year. And I made a post on Twitter where it's like, look back and reflect, like, did you show up for yourself? And if you're not doing this by yourself and you got a team of people, like, did they show up for themselves and also for the program? Because ain't nobody big in the program. You know what I mean? Did they show up and do their job with a sense of pride? And if they didn't, that's something you're gonna need to evaluate. But also evaluate yourself first. It starts with you first. Make that change, pivot, create now, polish later. That's what I got to say, man. Create now, polish later. It's all about getting it done, man. Get the idea out. Get the idea out. I'm not saying this because I'm telling you there's a dollar behind it. I'm not saying this because there's a bunch of vanity metrics that are waiting for you, such as views, likes, and follows. I'm just telling you because it's gonna do much. It's gonna do a lot of. It's gonna do a lot of work for your spirit. Getting that idea out, man. Getting that idea out, and then seeing it with your own eyes that you actually applied yourself and you put the idea out, regardless how great it is. Regardless how great it is or how not great it is, but you applied yourself and you did it. Continue to do that. Continue to do that the rest of 2025. That's something I've been, you know, struggling with myself, and that's why I'm making this change with the podcast, man. So every week you can expect the episode. We'll be dropping an episode every week. Whether I'm finna do this shit myself or we're doing it with the team, we're gonna drop episodes every week, man. And I want to make sure that like I'm connected with the people. We've been doing this for 5 years and we still figuring this out. We don't know what we're doing, but we know where we want to go. So, that's all I got to say, man. Thanks for tuning in to episode 156 of the Beats and Chill podcast. Again, I'm your host, Hometown. Please make sure to follow us on Instagram at Beats and Chill 813. It's Beats and Chill on everything else. And we out. Peace.